So in this video you'll get to know about what are the types of data. What are the types of data? There are two types of data. One is qualitative and the other one is quantitative. There are two types of data. One is qualitative, another one is quantitative. So let's discuss qualitative and quantitative. The first one is qualitative. So what is meant by qualitative data? So qualitative can also be called as non-numerical data, or we can also represent this as categorical data, non-numerical or categorical data. So this qualitative data is again further divided into three types of data. This qualitative data is again divided into three types of data. So for the first one is ordinal, binary, and the third one is nominal. So let's discuss these three types of data, starting with ordinal. What is meant by ordinal data? So ordinal data is something that helps to compare one item with other. So it's used for comparison purpose, just for comparison purpose. So if there is any kind of so that comparison should be done in a sequential and ordering. The result should be in sequential and ordering manner. You have to remember this. It has to be compared. The result will be compared and result should be in sequential and ordering manner. Just you have to remember. So this is not numerical. Just remember, this is only for comparison. It's not for counting purpose or measuring purpose. This is just for comparing one item with other item in a sequential and ordering manner. Okay, so I'll give you an example for this so that you can get to know about this clearly. Yeah, so suppose if you what's your suppose if someone asks you what is your grade, what's your grade in your school, so what will be the result for this? So I have got A grade, B grade, C grade, D grade. So if you see the output result, so A represents first class with distinction, first class, second class, third class. The result will be in the four manner, but if you see this ordering from low to high is there, the result is displayed in the sequential ordering manner. So each result is compared with other results. So this grade, what's your grade question, comes under ordinal data. So let's see one more example so that you will be completely clear about this topic. So if someone asks you what's your economic status, so we will reply them by using the words low, poor, middle class, upper middle class, or rich. So this is how we differentiate each result with other thing. So the result, if you see these four results, each result is compared with other results. So starting with poor and at last ending with rich. So if you see this, it's there in the sequential ordering ranking. So each result is compared with other results. So this is how ordinal data should be represented. The second one is binary data. So what is meant by binary data? So binary data means something that has got only two options. Binary data has got only two options. The result will be displayed in just two options. It comes under qualitative. Yeah, so because it is not a numerical one. So let's see an example so that you will get to know get to know about it clearly. So what's your gender? So if someone asks you what's your gender, so sorry, you can say what's your result, whether it is pass or fail. So you will choose one, whether it is pass or fail. We'll choose only one option from the two options. So I'll give you one more example. Are you eligible to vote? So what will be the options for this? Yes or no. There are only two options we got, yes or no. So this is how binary data is represented. The last one in qualitative data is nominal data. So this is the last one in qualitative data. So what is meant by nominal data? So nominal data, it is quite opposite to ordinal. So ordinal is used for comparison. Nominal is not used for comparison purpose. Just remember. So there will be one straight answer for this. Okay, there is not used for comparison or measuring purpose. No comparison or counting or measuring. There is no kind of comparisons in nominal. So let's see an example so that you will get to know about it clearly. Okay, so there will be no comparisons like numericals. There will be no sorting, ordering, ranking. Okay, because it is nominal data. So let's see an example. What's your color of your hair? So what's your color of your hair? So what's the color of your hair? What will be the options for this? It's red, green and blue. There are only three options. We got red, green and blue. We have got only three options. So we have got three more. So we have got more options too, but we select gray or something like that. So but it's not, red is not compared with green is not compared with blue, it's not in order sequential like ordinal data. So there will be one straight answer for this, one answer. So someone has red hair, say red. Someone has gray, as say gray or white or black. So we'll be giving straight answers. So let's see one more example. What's your marital status? If someone asks you what's your marital status, we reply in three options: single, widow or married. So we'll just say one option, just straight one option is not compared with other things. So this is how nominal data is chosen. Let's give one more example. What's your gender? So we'll say male, female or any transgenders. So we'll choose only one option, one straight option, which is not compared with other options. So this is how nominal data is represented. So I hope you have understood what is qualitative data. I hope you have understood clearly about what is qualitative data. Now let's discuss the second thing, last thing, quantitative data. So what is meant by quantitative data? So quantitative clearly represents this name called quantitative. How many, that is completely numerical. This quantitative is completely quite opposite to qualitative data. So this is completely comes under numerical, and it is used for measuring and counting purpose. This represents in countable. So you can say somewhere like these are the few things that comes under quantitative. So how much, how many, how often, this kind of words, it is kind of the terms comes under quantitative data. So this quantitative data is further divided into four types. So one is discrete, the second one is continuous, the third one is interval, and the fourth one is a ratio. So again, this quantitative data is further divided into 4 types. One is discrete, continuous, interval, and ratio. So now let's come to know what are these types of data clearly. So the first one is what is meant by discrete data. So what is discrete? Discrete and continuous comes under one category, interval and ratio comes under one other category. What is discrete? So discrete is nothing but which has the result has integers, or you can say the result will be displayed in integer or rational, we'll say, or whole numbers. The result will be displayed in integer, rational, whole numbers. So sorry, so it will not be rational, so it's just displayed in rational or whole numbers. Okay, so it will not, remember, just remember, note, you have to remember, it will not be displayed in fractional or what is a rational decimal format. It will not be displayed. The result will be in the form of integer and whole numbers. It will not be displayed in fractional, just remember, guys. Yeah, so let's see an example to clearly know about what is discrete. Suppose total, what's the total number of students in the class? So if someone asks you what's the total count of the students in the class, reply it by saying it's 40 or 50. So this is how we represent discrete data. The second one is continuous. So you can see there is no kind of fractional parts, just only integer part is displayed. Okay, so what is continuous? So this continuous, so just I have to say one more thing about discrete data. I forgot to say this discrete data is finite, limited. You can say, you can't say I got unlimited, right? It's only countable. It's countable. It's like, because it's finite. You can say infinite, like uncountable. So the result will be infinite manner, and this output will be represent. This discrete data is output will be further. If you want to represent, you can represent this discrete data in the form of bar graphs. Okay, in the form of line graphs, line numbers, or in the form of frequency tables. Just remember, you can represent this in these 3 forms. So now let's come to what is meant by continuous data. So continuous data is quite opposite to discrete data. So in discrete, we say it comes under it supports integers and whole numbers, right? So in continuous, the result will be displayed in the form of fractional values. The result will be displayed in the form of fractional values, fractional, decimal, we'll say decimal values, rational, we'll say, right? So in the form of dot after, we'll say some value, decimal value. Yeah, it's it is used for, as we all know, this is numerical. It is used for counting and measuring purposes. We'll say measuring purpose, counting and measuring. Yeah, so let's say an example. Suppose if someone asks us what's your height of a person, so we'll reply by giving them it's 6 feet 4 inches, like that. 6 feet 6.4. Its result will be displayed in the fractional part. So someone asks you what's the weight of the person, so we'll reply by giving you like it's 120.22. So if someone asks you what is the temperature of your city, reply them by giving 39.4 degree Fahrenheit. So this is how the result will be displayed. The result will be displayed in the fractional values. Just remember, this result will be displayed in the form of fractional values. So this is how we represent the continuous data. So the next thing is interval data. The last two things. There one more thing that is left, interval and ratio. Now let's discuss what is meant by interval data. Okay, so this interval data can be explained by using an example clearly. So just remember, this interval data has got negative values, and this is not absolute zero. It doesn't come under this category. It has got negative values. So I'll give an example for this to clearly know about what is interval data. Suppose there are two cities, New York and Los Angeles. There are two cities. So the New York temperature readings are 20 degrees Celsius and Los Angeles temperature readings minus 10 degrees Celsius. Okay, so let's see here one more thing. So I'm writing this clearly explaining this example for you. Here you can see minus, you can see 10. So if you look at this first example, so not this. So if you look at this, so wait for a while, I'll just clearly remove it so that you will clearly understand. Yeah, so if you look at this clearly, so what's the temperature of New York? It's 20 degrees Celsius and Los Angeles is 10 degrees Celsius. So what is the difference between New York and Los Angeles temperature? So the difference is, if you do subtraction, so what's the difference? It's 10 degrees Celsius. The difference is 10 degrees Celsius between. So you can say New York is twice of Los Angeles in temperature readings. So you can say New York is twice of Los Angeles in temperature readings. Yeah, so but in here this case you can say you can't. So what's the difference between here? So people used to think that difference is 10, but it's not actually 10. The scale of the temperature is represented in this format 0, 10. So what's the temperature? So you can see 10, 20. That here the actual difference between New York and Los Angeles is 30 degrees. So you can't say New York, you can't say this New York is twice of Los Angeles in temperature readings. So you can't say this because Los Angeles temperature is minus 10 and it is represented in 2010 0 10. So it has got some negative values, so you can't say this is wrong method to represent. So just remember, this interval data has got negative values. This is interval data. Yeah, this is how we represent interval data with this example. I hope you understood. Yeah, so the last one is ratio data. So what is meant by ratio data? So we'll get to know what is meant by ratio data now. So ratio data is quite opposite to interval data. So it doesn't have negative values. But it has got absolute zero. It has got absolute zero, but it has not got negative values. Just remember. Okay, so let me give an example so that you will get to know about it clearly. So if someone asks you number of kids you have, you reply by saying it's 0 or 1 or 2, something like this. So you can't say I have -1 kids, you can't say I have -2 kids, because it doesn't support negative values. Just remember, it does not support negative values. So this kind of terms comes under ratio data. This kind of questions come under ratio data. So it doesn't support negative values. It has got 0 and greater than 0. Yeah. So let me give you one more example. Yeah, number of houses you have. Someone asks you number of houses you have, so we'll say by replying I have 0 houses or 1 house or 2 house. You can't say I have -1 house, -2 house. This is wrong. So these kind of questions terms comes under ratio data. So I hope you have understood what is meant by quantitative data. So I hope you have understood what is meant by qualitative and quantitative data clearly. In the next coming videos we'll get to know more about data. Thank you very much.